please, whatever you do, don't take the bubble away. This is episode 20 of the Royal City Hoops podcast. We are back. It's been a while. I've been busy with this life stuff happening. And lots been going on with the NBA, with the coronavirus, with Black Lives Matter. And all of that is kind of intertwined right now, trying to deal with, are we going to have a season? Is it going to finish? What's the impact going to be? Is everybody going to play? So right now we're going to dig into maybe some predictions in an ideal scenario if everybody's playing and we're having this bubble. And then we'll discuss maybe towards the end what may or may not happen. So let's talk about who does this favor? Who does this benefit? Who are the teams that are going to be clearly ahead of the pack? All right, so we'll talk about in the Eastern Conference. In football, they say defense in a running game travels. Well, in basketball, defense travels. You could say that, guys who drive to the basket and posting up travels too. But for sure, defense travels. So if we're going to talk about the Eastern Conference, I firmly believe that this benefits the Milwaukee Bucks. One, because they have a lot of continuity on their team. And two, they're one of the best defensive teams in the league. So they are definitely at the top of the list. Now, we've documented in the past why we don't think the Bucks are that stellar is because who closes out games for them is Giannis, and he really hasn't developed that closing move yet. He doesn't have the scoring skill that is innate with a lot of the big names. He's no Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's a closer. The Miami Heat's another team that I think benefits from this just because they play hard every night. The Bucks play hard every night. The Raptors play hard every night. Boston, again, they're a great team. They're probably fourth on my list in the East. I think it'll just be too hard. They don't have the defensive rebounding to make it work. But let's go back. So Milwaukee, number one out of the East. No surprise. I don't think the layoff hurts them. Everybody's going to struggle offensively to get it going. They have the length to play defense. They have enough shooting. They'll run through pretty quickly to the Eastern Conference Finals, where I think they will face the Toronto Raptors, where defensively the Raptors are excellent. They play hard. They have length on the wing. They have guys who can make enough shots. I don't think they have great three-point shooters, but they have guys that can make threes. So I think that plays well for them. Their team has been together. They've been through the wars. They want to chip together. I think the Raptors have a really good chance. Injuries do play a role, and they will. This shortened season, everybody being off for 2 months, does it help? Does it hurt? I would be nervous about injuries, 100%, if I were playing in this, which I'm not because I'm 45 years old and can't go left. So the Raptors, the Heat are going to be number 3 because playing hard is a skill. And like we said, offenses are going to be atrocious. And Miami has a closer. They have shooting. They play hard. They play well defensively. They have a chance. Boston, who's my biggest disappointment in the East, is going to be Philly. They don't have shooting. They don't have a lot of continuity. Offensively, it's going to be even worse for them. Ben Simmons, his creativity, his skill, unless he developed a 15-foot jumper that's reliable over quarantine, I don't think they've got much road ahead of them in the playoffs. They're going to be a one-and-done first round. Tough first-round series, but I don't think they make it out of the first round. I think Boston is better if they end up playing Boston. I don't know the current rankings. So Philly's going to be my big disappointment in the East. In the West, I'm hanging my hat on the Lakers, pure and simple because they have LeBron James. He is an instant chemistry machine. He will bring guys together. He makes guys better every day. If you look at the roster, some of those Cleveland teams he dragged to the finals, there is no way they should have been in the finals, and he did that on his own. So he's my number one. Yeah, Dwight Howard's talk about not playing, but we're dealing in a utopian scenario here that everybody's playing because we don't know what's going to happen. We may as well play along with the game until we have some clarity. So, Lakers are my number one. Clippers number two, of course. Clippers have depth. their defense, while has not played well statistically, like statistically they don't show up as one of the great teams. You know, if you can put a lineup out there of Pat Beverly, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Montrezl Harrell, and we'll say Marcus Morris. I mean, I forget which Morris brother it is, but it's one of them. That lineup is pretty impressive defensively. They got guys who can manufacture points. My concern with the Clippers is health-wise. Both Kawhi and Paul George have shown a propensity for kind of nagging injuries or little injuries or getting nicked up and dinged up. Don't forget, Paul George is coming off shoulder surgeries, and Kawhi literally trucked himself through the playoffs. I mean, he clearly was not 100%. So I'm worried about that. The durability of the Clippers is what worries me. If all things were being equal, I would kind of still pick the Lakers just because I'm a big LeBron guy, and he's had the layoff, he's had the rest. So have the Clippers, but I think I don't want him motivated. I mean, the Last Dance, you don't think he's chomping at the bit to get out there and prove he's the best, and win another ring? He knows the window's closing. I mean, what do you think? He's got 4 years left. He needs as many rings. He wants as many rings. He doesn't need them. LeBron's fine. He doesn't really need anything. But the competitive spirit in him and the winner, he wants another one. At least another one, and he knows that window's small. So they're my top two in the West. I mean, the drama is more towards the bottom with the format that they've come up. I am not big on Houston. You could say that because Houston plays a lot of small ball, they may be a little tricky to deal with in the first round series. But I don't think over 7 games that them playing small ball matters. They'll get worn down. Good teams. What are they going to do with Anthony Davis? It's a wrap. They're going to put James Harden in pick and roll with LeBron, and he's going to get demolished, and that series is over. That series doesn't go 6 games. So I'd say the Houston Rockets will be the biggest disappointment. They'll be super fun to watch because they're going to shoot a lot of threes. They're going to get up and down. They're going to press. So that first round series, I do not want to see them. But hey, it's going to be short-lived in my mind. So that's where we see all of the. I mean, who else do we have? I think Portland's going to be a nice little team, but they don't have a lot of depth on the wing. They're too big and slow up front. Their guys aren't mobile enough. You got Dame and CJ. Their other guys really have to grow into it. I'm more on the fence with them being better next year. The Spurs, no. Utah, I think they have a lot of chemistry issues trying to integrate Mike Conley, and they're clearly better with Donovan Mitchell being their primary ball handler. We'll see how that plays out. Is Rudy Gobert outmatched there in today's NBA? Does he make a difference? Again, these are sort of questions that don't move the needle for me. Lakers, Clippers. That's it. And then Bucks, Raptors. Heat are my dark horse. Now, what's really going to happen? We're seeing a lot of spikes in Florida with the coronavirus. So that's putting the whole bubble at risk. And you're also seeing division among the players given the Black Lives Matter movement. Are they all going to play? Dwight Howard came out and said, I'm not going to play. Kyrie Irving came out and said players are having discussions about whether we should be playing or not to take away from the Black Lives Matter movement. Remember, the NBA is 85, 90% black. So this is an opportunity to make a statement in a time that needs it. Black Lives Matter. That's not in dispute. You can't sort of at this point say anything different because that's the truth. Now, should the NBA play? Should it not play? That's not for me to decide. That's nothing in my wheelhouse. What I will say is everybody should be free to make the choice that their conscience is telling them to without reprisal. So if there's a portion of the players who say, We do not want to play to make a statement at this time. We do not want to distract or take away from the movement, or we want to reinforce how serious this is. I want to support that. I want to support that they can have different voices and still want the same goals. You know, there will be players who say, this is our platform. Playing will have more eyes on us and we'll be able to do something. I think that's valid. We need to have this discussion, and we need to be uncomfortable right now. Anytime you want to be better, it involves being uncomfortable. It involves hearing things you don't want to hear. As an athlete, you know, coaches didn't tell me what I wanted to hear. They told me how to get better and what I sucked at. And I think we as people have to take that cue and realize that this is a time to do that. So the NBA, are they going to play? I don't know. Do you think they're going to play? I hope they do. I know the NBA hasn't got a lot of messaging out right now because I think they want to show a unified league, a unified movement with the players leading it. So I think that's why we haven't heard a lot from the league. We haven't heard a lot from the owners because I think they're white and they shouldn't be at the forefront. It should be the players and their voices that are being heard right now. I mean, we look at what's happening with baseball. Baseball can't get it together. Well, who knows if we're going to have baseball? And quite frankly, who cares? I don't really care about baseball. Look at the NFL. Look at how far the NFL has come since Colin Kaepernick, with Roger Goodell coming out and saying we dropped the ball on that. You know, and Drew Brees coming out and talking about the flag and then not walking it back, but just progressing. You know, having real conversations with his teammates and showing real, not leadership of his team, but just as a person, and he should be seen as equals to them, not, oh, he's the quarterback and he's the leader, but he's somebody who said the wrong thing with the right intentions and educated himself from people he cared about. And I think we should all be trying to do that right now, but not to get too preachy. The NBA needs time right now, and what is preventing everything from moving forward in my mind is the coronavirus. If Florida becomes the new epicenter, say goodbye to the season. We're done. Well, how are the NBA is trying to figure out how they're going to keep players quarantined and safe inside the bubble, but the people who are cleaning the hotels and the hotel rooms, who are only going once a week, they're not sequestered or quarantined. They can come and go as they please. The people in immediate contact aren't. So there's a lot of logistics to figure out. And if all of a sudden Florida becomes this huge hub of the coronavirus, the NBA is going to have a tough decision to make. So I think that's why their messaging right now is delayed. But I have a feeling the NBA will do something really big when it comes to Black Lives Matter. But again, God willing, we have some basketball because that's what I want to see. But if the best thing right now is not to have it, be it for coronavirus reasons or for any statement around Black Lives Matter, I'm totally for that, because we have to make big statements right now. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Who do you think is going to win if we have a season? Do you think we should have a season at all? Is it too dangerous? Is it too distracting? What should we do? I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to say thanks for listening. Like if you like, comment if you have something to say, and subscribe at your own risk. And we'll see you next time.